glossy, glazed chicken meatballs. What makes these so special? It's all in the mixture, my friends. I've got all the little tips and tricks to make this amazing dish. So if you think about the idea of like meatballs and spaghetti, meatballs and noodles, this is like the ultimate Japanese version of that, and it is so light and so fragrant. Oh, I really love this one, guys. I can't wait for you to try it. The first thing though is we need to get those noodles just right. Soba noodles are a little tricky. I've got some little tips for how to cook them. Let's start with those. So these are the soba noodles. They are buckwheat flour noodles, and you want some boiling water here. Get them straight in. And the trick here is don't go away. Don't go check your Instagram feed or something. Soba noodles cook quickly, and if they go soggy, the whole dish is a disaster. I don't want to put the pressure on or anything, but just stick around, stir them a little, and wait until they're beautifully al dente. So just a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to start pulling these out and checking them every few seconds or so. They are just a little beyond al dente, a few more seconds, and I'm going to pull them out. But the other thing with these is they need to be uber cold. So I've got some water, some ice sitting here. Now get your noodles out straight into that ice. Now get your hands in here and give them a little bit of love. I want to move them around with that ice. Make sure that every strand is getting ice cold. Okay, so you can just leave these guys while we get the rest of our dinner organized. Now I want to prep my cucumber early here because I'm going to add a little bit of salt and let it almost kind of like pickle and season itself while everything else gets going. So I've got a Japanese cucumber here, thin slices. Now add a good pinch of salt and give these slices a little massage. This extra step of pre-seasoning these before you add them into your salad makes all the difference. Sometimes the devil really is in the detail, guys. And now we get to the all-important meatball. Now these Japanese meatballs, I would say, have a very, very different texture to your regular kind of meatballs. They are very soft, very tender, and to make that happen, we're going to do a couple of little things. I've got some panko breadcrumbs here. I'm going to add some chicken stock, and I want to let that turn into some soft mush, and that soft mush is what's going to keep our meatball really soft. So to the meatball itself, I've got some chicken mince here, and I want to add some spring onion. Just slice any of those larger spring onion ends through the middle. So I want really fine slices or finely chop on this. I want to save half of these for my salad at the end, and the other half goes in with the chicken. Now, one little special ingredient that isn't optional here, because I know some of you will find this difficult to find, but I love adding these shiso leaves into these meatballs. They have a really beautiful, sort of like almost a medicinal herbal fragrance and aroma. They add something really beautiful. You can find these at a Japanese supermarket. If not, just put in a little bit of mint, maybe some basil, just to kind of up the herbaceousness a little bit. And you want to slice these really nice and fine. And one more trick here for my meatballs. I know so many tricks for these meatballs, but I'm going to add some chicken thigh, and I'm gonna hand chop it, because a lot of the time the chicken mince that you get is very finely ground. It kind of makes it a little bit tough and dry, and so this kind of chunkier chicken thigh mince will add a bit of juiciness and a bit of texture. So you kind of want some thin slices first, and then you'll need to get a little bit more aggressive. Just get in there and kind of give it a good bash. So by now our little breadcrumb mash is ready to go. That texture there. And now some miso paste as well. This is going to add a really beautiful salty seasoning to this mix. And then just a little pinch of salt. Give this a very good mix. Make sure that miso is incorporated right through. And then at the end here, just give it a really good, vigorous mix through. It's going to firm the texture up just a little bit. I've got some skewers that I've had soaking in some water so they don't burn while they're in the pan. And now this is going to be like the softest meatball mixture you have probably ever worked with. So dip your fingers into some water, that'll stop the sticking somewhat. Grab a little sort of golf ball size handful of mixture, pat it into sort of flat shape here, and then stick your skewer right through. Now at this point, these are a little difficult to work with at this stage because they are super soft and sticky, but it will be totally worth it in the end, guys, I promise. So you'll need to support underneath those patties with your fingers as you mold them. Now the other important part of these glazed meatballs is the glaze. So I'm using my Marion's Kitchen classic teriyaki marinade here. I love this one because, have a look at this. See how thin this teriyaki sauce is? All the magic for a teriyaki should happen in the pan. I find a lot of commercial teriyaki sauces are really thick and gloopy, and that just gives you the wrong texture. It should be a beautiful glaze with the flavor developing with the heat. Now, if you can't get a hold of my classic teriyaki, you can find the recipe for this on my website so you can make it from scratch. So to cook these guys, you want a little bit of oil in a hot pan, and then just use some paper towel to rub that oil all over. I really just want a thin coating here. And now for your skewers. These really are delicate, so I like to use a little spatula to lift them off and get them into the pan. Now just let them go for a couple of minutes on this first side to give them a really nice, beautiful color and to start to firm them up a little bit. Now I'm gonna flip them and another couple of minutes on this side. And now you wanna turn the heat down just a little bit. Now we're gonna do the magical glazing part. So start liberally brushing your sauce onto these. And then now is where the skewers come in handy. You can turn these over and brush again. And basically you want to keep brushing and turning and glazing for the next 3 or 4 minutes or until those meatballs are beautifully cooked through. So these are looking just perfect. Look at that amazing color and that gloss. Oh, so joyful. So now let's quickly toss our noodle salad together. You want some of those soba noodles. Just take little handfuls and kind of squeeze out that water and into a large bowl. Now these should still be really cold. If you're living somewhere that's super warm, make sure you keep these in the fridge. And now the cucumbers, the same thing. There's going to be a lot of liquid to come out of these, so squeeze them out and then you'll just be left with crunchy, slightly salted cucumber. Now I always love to add pickled ginger to this kind of salad, and I love the ruby red color of this one. And the finely sliced spring onion from earlier. And now a super simple dressing for this, some soy sauce, sesame oil, and some honey. Just mix all of that together and just serve it up. Now you won't believe how amazingly, beautifully fragrant and tasty this is until you try it. Look at how soft that meatball is. Some noodles. That meatball just melts in your mouth. There's beautiful herbs through there, the shiso and the spring onion, and then that soba noodle salad is such a perfect pairing. And it's really light and fresh. I could totally eat this like all day, every day. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.